Oh, we're live. We're live. Hello, everyone. Uh, really late stream. I'm curious who's gonna see this and jump in. Maybe we'll get a slightly different crowd because it is pretty late. But I'm happy to be streaming because, oh, excuse me. Here's the problem is all these late nights. You know what I'm doing? I'm drinking caffeinated soda, and I don't know, man. This is killing me. Here we go. So the reason why I'm streaming right now, Charlie's going to be here shortly. I'm streaming because share screen, share. Here we go. Because Fatal currently has passed $60,000. We have, here we go. Let me refresh this. Over 60,000. We have 2 hours left ish. And I'm going to extend the campaign. Now, this hasn't been a surprise, but this is an interesting experiment for me to participate in because a lot of people do this, where you run your campaign for 30 days and then up until the end of those 30 days, you get on there and then you refresh it, extend it. That's the word. You extend the campaign and then you go for another 30 days. You're doing a 60-day campaign. I'm not positive that it matters, but I'm going to gather as much information as I can and see if it does. I'm curious. It would be kind of hard to definitively tell. But I looked at a lot of stuff on 30-day campaigns versus 60-day campaigns, and what it does is it gives people more time to wait, because you still have those people that will wait forever. So that happens too. Regardless, though, I'm glad that we've got people popping in. So hello to everybody. Aaron Olson says number 2 watcher. You're really the number 1. You know why? Just because I have the stream open myself, because I like to see the chat in a more, I don't know, I guess it's alive. I can see the chat. In StreamYards, it's a bit of a delay, so I like to have it on both places. So Aaron Olson, appreciate you being here. Bruh, it's 6:15 in the UK, so it's early. So I should not be complaining. Bianca Fights the Zombies. Congratulations, all spams. Cecil's chat with the link. Thank you. Appreciate that. You must be a mod over there. Is the Jack show going on? I think it is, huh? That's a good idea. The Comics Bear. Greetings, Clint. Plus chat. Fatal is bear thumbs up. I don't know. I did see your video, Comics Bear. You did one on Downcast of review, and that was pretty great. So appreciate the review. Appreciate you back in the book. Congrats. Use that algorithm. That's the goal. We're gonna see how it goes. Hey Charlie, how are you doing?
Very good. I just ate a bunch of ribs, and now it was delicious. And then I found my wife and kids. They made blondies.
Oh, we make those blondies
too, and they are they're so good. Because you always want a soft cookie. That's what I always want. Some people want a crispy cookie. Who are these people? Crispy cookie. Yeah.
I don't get that.
Soft.
It's all about soft.
Chewy. Yes.
You gooey even. I like gooey cookies. Yeah, they usually start off gooey and then they get chewy, like after, or soft.
It's so perfect. I didn't know they could do it.
Yeah,
they did it.
Love it. Yeah, those are good. The Jack show's going on. I'm gonna guess that the Jack show is gonna talk about Fatal. They did it last time. You can't not talk about it, so I think that's okay.
They did. They talked Fatal last time.
They talked. I don't know if it was last time. Sometime when they did it, I think it was last time they did it. Maybe it's 2 times ago. They did talk about Fatal. So
I made a drawing. I made a drawing of Donald Delay's amazing Cecil drawing.
Oh yeah.
Earlier, and posted it tonight. So
sweet.
I don't know.
Well, I want to see this John Malin thing that you did, but I'm sure you can't show. But I'm eager to see it when I can. That'll be cool.
As far as I know, it's top secret. When I was asked to do it, he said, "Don't tell anybody."
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I said, I won't. And he said, "Don't even tell anybody you're doing it." And then he
Oh.
told everybody, and then he told people I was doing it. So I thought, well,
Oh, he
that
did.
I'm doing it. That's okay.
Yeah.
What
The
it
cat's
is,
out of the bag.
what it is exactly, um, it's just 2 pages, or a print, or a poster. I don't know exactly.
Two
But
things.
who knows? I'm assuming it's for the end of their campaign, somewhere around there.
Nice. Andy says, I'm definitely going to back your book, man. It looks great. Thank you. Appreciate that. I better, like a professional, I'm going to post a link. We're kind of getting going here.
Andy Montemayor. What a beautiful name.
Appreciate that.
Very sensual. It makes me think of going against the... Well, we're not going against the Jack Show.
Think of it as we're going with the Jack Show.
The 2 boats have been pushed out into the ocean, and they'll sail along together. And, it's the same ocean. There's a lot of room for a lot of boats out in the ocean.
Absolutely. I like this top secret, like how Zach once leaked in a video that Malin was the artist for Jawbreakers, but we all kept it quiet.
Did he really? I was not here that early enough to hear Zach leak that. Clint, were you privy that early?
No, I had I was in some comics groups on Facebook back then, pre YouTube and Twitter for me, but I didn't really follow what was going on. I was just more like trying to find artists and trying to figure out, publishers and how to get into anthologies, and so I kind of just kept out of everything, like all the big network stuff in the news and things like that. So I'd heard of Comicsgate, but I didn't really think much of it. I figured it was probably like Gamergate, just because the name. But it wasn't until I saw Jim Zub, who, I don't know, Jim Zub. He worked with John Malin at Marvel, actually. He's a writer on one of the books that John Malin did the art for. Jim Zub, I used to email him and ask him questions, and he'd give me some help. So it's nice. He's a bit of a SJW, though.
Who isn't at this point?
They're everywhere.
I mean, really.
But, I work with SJWs too, and it's kind of just like, whatever. You don't talk about politics, Anyway, but he posted on Twitter. I had a Twitter account, but I never checked it. So I got an email that said from Jim Zub that Mark Waid was being sued, and I was like, what? What's this about? I know who Mark Waid is. And then I looked into it, and I was like, oh, he was calling someone a Nazi. And that to me was the key word. So immediately I knew he's wrong. He's this is defamation, because it happens so often, everywhere else, that I was like, oh, Mark Waid he's SJW. I have some books from him, but
part of it is, have you ever met a Nazi? Anywhere?
The closest thing that I've ever come to meeting a Nazi is I once made a video well over a year ago about Vox Day, and Vox Day had a blog post where he called Anders Breivik, the Swedish guy that went and mowed down like 80 students.
Yeah, on that island or something.
Yeah, he called him Saint Breivik and this stuff, because I wanted to look into Vox Day if he was really...
Oh, is Vox Day that gross?
He's pretty gross. I mean, you look at his blog, it's pretty gross. Because I thought surely, same kind of logic. I thought if someone calls him a Nazi, he's probably not. I mean, I'm not saying he's a Nazi, but I'm saying he's pretty into some weird politics, very extreme, that I'm not on board with. So I went and looked at his stuff, and I made a video about it. And then I did have like one person in the comment section, I remember, that was like, no, Anders Breivik did nothing wrong.
Oh my Lord.
That was the closest. It could have been somebody was it could have been.
that guy
Yeah.
killed kids, right? Weren't there little children?
Teenagers. I don't think they were little children. I could be wrong.
Right. So you know
We're
that
getting
part
heavy.
in the Star Wars prequels
Mm.
when
Anakin.
when Anakin becomes Darth Vader, he becomes the bad guy and he slices down all the little kids. Essentially, these guys watched that movie and said, "Yeah, that guy's right."
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You have to, I don't know, you got to check your bearings when you say, "Yeah, that guy was onto something." That Darth Vader. I don't know what I don't know what we were thinking going against that
Yeah.
Vader.
And I don't care. The person was like, "No, you don't understand." Like in the comment section, they could have been trolling, but they're like, "You don't understand. They're Muslim, so it was okay." And I was like, "No,
Yeah.
like no, that's not okay." So yeah, but that was the closest. Genuinely, that's why like the video I did today, which is doing really great view wise, by the way. People keep posting that Comicsgate is a hate group. It's just a lie. It's not the truth. And it's like I've been hanging out here for 2 years, a little over 2 years, been talking to people, been, you know what I mean, intimately involved. And it's just a blatant lie.
You've been kissing them?
Kissing, hugging, you know, as intimate as you can be virtually, you know.
That is intimate. All right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Anyway, I don't remember where I was going with that.
What's spurred on? Is it because yesterday when I posted the drawing of Cyberfrog that I got hit with all these weirdos coming out of the cracks? And,
there's something's going on this week. They've been percolating. But yeah,
angry.
someone got after you just because you drew Cyberfrog, right?
I drew Cyberfrog and said this masterpiece. It's a great book. There's no denying it. And one of the guys who even was saying, that's a pretty low bar for a masterpiece. And I thought, all I asked was, did you read it?
Yeah.
Did you read the book? Do you have it? And there was some avoidance, and I realized you didn't read it. I mean, you're gonna dump on it. You never read it. Come on,
right.
get the book. At least find out what it is, and at least I know every personality isn't going to be for somebody. Maybe Ethan could turn somebody off, but can you separate the person from the work? The work is
right.
You can't argue. You can't even argue with it.
Well, if you don't like somebody, then I mean, what does that have to do with the character? Or you know what I mean? Like you have to go around and shame people for, I don't know, that it just doesn't make sense. But they've been springing up lately. Just this week, I think yesterday is probably when I started noticing it. But I had this dude today because we're promoting the campaign, and that's right. Dash Crow is right. Congrats on the hugely successful campaign, guys. This is hugely successful, and we're halfway through it. Hugely successful. But I was posting stuff, and I get this guy that's like, "You're ripping people. This is a grift." Like, and I vaguely remember him from my last campaign. He did it last time too, where he's just like trying to explain, and then I found out that he made videos on me. It's so weird. This is now the second time I've discovered somebody that makes hate videos about me.
Sexy. That's sexy.
I know, it's so weird. I'll take it though. But it was just like most of it was like, no, you don't understand. You're not doing the math. Like he was trying to figure out why it didn't make sense. The pricing didn't make sense. And I'm like, clearly.
You know what this person really wants, right?
Attention.
They want that. Not only that, a specific kind of attention. What they really want is for you, Clint, to wear high heel shoes and stand on their testicles. It's
probably.
It's obvious. It's obvious. I think you can wear the garter belt if you want. Personally, that might get caught in some of my upper thigh hairs. I don't know. I don't know if you're as gross and fat as a hairy of a dad as I am, but
I've got a bit of a dad bod. We'll put it that way.
I was 4 years ago, I was so svelte, and now the garters just don't look the same on me anymore. In Europe, they call them suspenders.
Mm.
In
Yeah.
America, we call these suspenders, and in the UK, they call those braces. And the things on your those are called braces. I had no idea until I read Winnie the Pooh to my kids,
Interesting.
and it says Christopher Robin takes off his braces to catch the baby kangaroo when he jumps out of the tree. And I thought, wait, Christopher Robin has braces on his body? Is he handicapped? I really couldn't figure out what the hell they were talking about. And then you see it, it's just suspenders. That's what braces are. And
Yeah.
suspenders, those are the sexy things that Clint, you and I wear on our hairy thighs, that we then wear the high heel pumps
That go with it. Yeah.
when this person wants you to step for testicular torsion.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just weird. Like, you just see that people that think about, I don't know. I don't have anybody that I hate, really. You know what I mean? That I obsess over. So I just don't get that, but they're out there. It's weird. We do have, here's a question. Congrats. Is this only for the first 30 days? Yeah, so this is the 30-day mark. We're going to be extending this, and I cannot screw this up and forget. I'm going to do it a little early because I think it would be very tragic if I let it go past the mark. So I'm going to make sure that I'm on top of that.
Well, wait a minute. Here's my question, because didn't we launch at 1 o'clock or noon?
Yeah.
On the 18th.
Yep.
Why are we relaunching in Australia? Why are we on the opposite side of the clock?
Yeah, so I think the way that they do it is because Indiegogo is in California, I think, and so they're going off of Pacific time, and so they do it midnight Pacific time. I think that's how it works. That's the only sense I can make out of it, anyway. So
it doesn't actually matter on the clock when we launched.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
Yeah. So apparently it ends at the same time. There is. I'm gonna go to IndieCron. That's an X. Cron. There we go.
All right.
Because they have a countdown and it's like to the minute. I don't know if Indiegogo does this at all, but it's just nice. There you go. 1 hour and 28 minutes remaining. So
Okay,
I'm just gonna keep an eye on it.
We'll be here together, counting down as this little guy goes across.
It's the slow trickle. Oh man, you know, the one person I wanted to have on a stream sometime. It's not too late, I guess, but I do want to have Richard, your boy Zach. Want to have him on sometime to talk. He's been on here like once, I think.
He was on here about, was it 2 months ago? And it was just as I was signing on, I was about to say, Zach, we talked a year ago, man. It's nice to see you again. And my microphone wasn't working. Nothing was working. All right, I got to jump off. I'll be right back. And by the time I came back, he was gone.
Yeah, he kind of just disappears, which is, I don't know, kind of, sometimes I want to implement that because you get on streams and I get it. Like, you know, you'll go on a stream that goes for 6 hours or, you know, close to it. It's like, I just want to disappear because I know I'm not being entertaining anymore at that point. But you're just,
at a certain point on a lot of streams, I just think I have nothing else to say.
Yeah.
And I'd like to just get under the covers and sob. I'll just sob under the pillow. Can I just go do that now? Because I'm out of juice. You all understand. Sometimes people are out of juice, but I don't know. It seems like Malin, Ethan, they could just keep going indefinitely.
Well, there's something then to that being your job too. You know what I mean? Like, because I did the one stream, I was on Ethan's channel, and we kept going, and it was like 2 a.m. for me or 2:30. So I know it was
That's
It was
5 a.m.
really late.
here.
Yeah. And I was like, I have to go to work tomorrow. I need to get off. And they're always like, no, hold on a minute. And it'd be like staying for another 30 minutes. And I'm like, this is so bad, you know? So I think it's tough because you work all day and then you're doing this all night, you know?
All right.
Just in campaign mode anyway.
Well, how many of these? So this is at 60.
Sure.
How many of these? I can't tell where this is going to land. But if we kept doing this, could you be in the position where you don't have to go in the next day to work?
That a lot of that depends on what the net is, you know? So one thing, we'll just do this a little bit publicly, but this second book here is a whole other print run. And I thought, I mean, it's selling and we have it on the secret perk too. I could pull it. I don't want to pull up the back end on stream. I could do it off so people don't see it, but this book did not sell as many as I thought it would sell. So
the black and white artist edition. So that one's actually costing more to make than the other ones.
I think we'll still make profit on it, but the total profit would be more if this was probably a different book. And this is why I thought if I did a Dracula book, because people want Fatal. I don't like the idea of having a separate Fatal book because just make it all in the same book. You know what I mean? But having a separate book, you know, just for people that want to back more or whatever, it gives them something else to get. They get more story. So that's why I was thinking I'm going to do it with Dracula. That's perfect. So then it gives somebody another book, but it justifies the print run, you know. So it'll be fine because, excuse me, I got the burps. I'm going to be combining, you know, we're going to go to a printer and say we're going to print a bunch of these, and then we're going to print some of these too. So with the volume, I think it's fine. We'll make money on it, but that still changes the net a little bit. So the question is, can you quit your job? I don't know. It depends on what the net is. I think honestly, it'll probably cost us about, if we stopped right here, right now, then it'll probably cost us 30 grand, I think, to make and fulfill a book, print and ship, all that jazz. That's probably a little conservative, actually. It would probably be closer to like 25,000, I think. But it's hard to say. So yeah, I don't know. It all depends on what the net would be.
So is your lesson then next time, don't do the artist edition? Keep it simple.
Yeah, I don't
do
think
one
so.
book.
Yeah, I think I'd do one book. If there's a different book that's a different print run, I think it has to be a totally different book. That's what I think. Because then people want to get it more, you know, because it's more story, or it's I don't know. People still wanted this, but it just, I don't know. I'm going to talk to a few different printers because I want to see who can do it the best. You know what I mean? Who is going to do a great job at the print, but also give us a good price. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know. As far as we're sitting right now, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Question is, could you do 4 a year? Could you do 4 campaigns a year, 4 books a year?
I think so, but I wouldn't be able to stream. This eats up a lot of time.
I know it does. Yeah,
and I could kind of draw during the streams, but not the same way.
Yeah,
not the same way, and my back hurts. Just sitting here right now, I'm old and I'm fat, just like I was saying. It's and seriously, it's the fatness. It's the new fatness, I think, that's making my back hurt.
Yeah, I think when I'm on stream too, I try to sit straight, so I'm like in view and not, you know, and then that makes it worse because I can sit all day at work too, but I don't know. You can move, I guess. I don't know.
I have to develop some sort of a chair and table system where I can lay down and draw? Is that a Can we do that? Is that a thing? I need to be reclined.
They call it the
Even
scorpion. I've seen a chair. It exists. You kick back and it has your monitors hanging above the air,
Oh,
right in front
wow.
of you, so you can lay down. But when I look at that, I think, how lazy have we become? But for streaming, man, that would be awesome. It'd probably be you'd want to fall on stream. You fall asleep on stream. You know
Well, we've seen that happen before. That's okay.
that. Yeah, it's not unheard of.
So
Yeah,
as long as you're there in the corporeal sense, then everyone knows you care.
yeah. No, I think if we did 4 of these a year, this is going to go above. Obviously, we're already at 60 grand right now. This will go higher, but I think if we did 4 a year, I think I could. I don't know. I don't know what your living expenses are like, but I would imagine that could be a full-time job.
Yeah.
That would be so cool, though. Just making comics, and then not only that, streaming would be easier, and you could whatever be creative during the day. Talk to people, talk to artists, whatever. It would be pretty cool.
Yeah, instead of going to, where do you go every day?
So I'm working from home now because of COVID. But yeah, I work in higher education. So it's a lot of talking to faculty members, and lately it's been putting out fires. I do a lot of closed captioning for videos. That's a big part of my job.
That's right.
So yeah, that's a thing. Dash Crow says, Clint, are you really related to Bram Stoker? I am, but it's hilariously distant. I think I've got this right. He's my 11th cousin, 14 times removed, something like that. It's absurd, but I can prove it. I've got the lineage. I've got the genealogy to prove it. I did so on a stream one time, so that it makes it fun. And everyone just constantly is asking about Dracula, so that's why I think it'd be a fun backup story to do. Roland says, "Hell fatal."
Have you got the bite marks to prove it? The bite marks deep in your neck, where Bram Stoker's true lineage lies deep in Clint Stoker's body.
That's right. I'm the one doling out the bite marks. Technically,
that's right. It is amazing.
Art Huffle says, "Are you turning college students into SJWs, Clint?" This is one of the main reasons why Comicsgate appealed to me. It's because I see what is going on every day, intimately. Again, I see it intimately, and I'm not okay with it. A lot of the stuff that's going on. So, yeah, I see that kind of stuff happening. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, my wife is in the other room right now watching Tucker Carlson, and I'm 3 years ago she was apolitical, and now she is turned into MAGA.
Tucker Carlson
and
watching.
my wife and her sister, who was a Occupy Wall Street type with the purple hair shaved on the sides and everything.
Wow.
MAGA. And my sister. So these 3 ladies were in my living room a week ago or 2 weeks ago watching the Republican National Convention, and I was just walking in thinking, what is happening here? They hung a Trump flag. They were drinking Trump wine watching the convention. And I thought, what the hell is happening? Is this happening to people everywhere that are, I don't know, angered by the gibberish that they see? It's not unrelated to what we're doing, I don't think. Or what you're talking about, Clint, what you see at schools, which is just, if things are going that far off the rail, that my wife, who didn't care, her Occupy Wall Street sister, and my sister, who was also not paying, are now engaged in this weird way to push back against whatever this is, then I don't know. Is that unusual, or am I seeing something unusual in them going that way? Or
I think it's happening frequently. Like I know I've met a ton of people that talk about it. That it's like they used to be, or they're still consider themselves liberal, or we talked to Brian Christgau the other night. He's very liberal. Like he says like socialist liberal, and but he agrees like the whole freedom of speech stuff and the cancel culture stuff, you know what I mean? He sees it and he agrees with us on it, So I think there's, I don't know. I know a lot of people too, just on a personal level, that have kind of flip flopped. They've kind of changed based on what is happening. I don't know. I don't think it's that unusual. I just it's going to take some time, I think, before it to become the norm.
Or is it because we're older?
That could be too.
And the other older people we're around are all, is that the standard thing to flip more conservative?
Yeah. That's what they say. I don't know.
What hate speech is free speech? Absolutely, Roland.
It's true. It's true. I tried to.
Katsuragi. Are you Japanese in America? Roland Katsuragi. That is a fun combo of names. Roland is, I don't know, what's Roland? Is that a
English, maybe?
Yeah, but there's some names that get traditional English, but I know some black Rolands.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Are you a black Japanese dude? Half and half.
We will wait the answer.
That's a cool combo.
He's right though. Hate speech is free speech. There's no. I told this person online. There's no such thing as hate speech, or like you're saying that hate speech is something punishable by crime. It's not. There is no clear definition of what hate. There's hate crimes. There are legal definitions for that, but not hate speech. So you can call anything you want hate speech. It's silly. Oh, somebody asked. Sorry, I slipped over the. He said, "Don't you own a window cleaning company?" I do. I own it's small. It doesn't make that much money. I would rather not be cleaning windows. But you know what, though? If I could make comics and clean windows at the same time, I think I could do that. That would be okay.
You'd still look. There's Fatal Flynn jumping from one window to the next right there. He's gonna blow away some aliens and then squeak, squeak, squeezy, squeegee.
Yeah, gotta scrape off the bird poop.
He's gonna call in Jax and I can never remember both their names. Jax and
Joanne.
Hispanic and Japanese. Not your birth name. So you are Hispanic and Japanese, and you have this amazing combo of heritage and name, but that's not your... Oh, I see what you say, screen name. I always forget about that part.
Roland Keyboards. Yeah, you probably like, what should my name be? This is about how it works for everyone. I've got a Roland keyboard. I've got, you got to do what you got to do to figure it out, and then it's yours forever.
Thank you, Morpheus.
They move far left, alien, many lifelong Democrats. It's true.
That certainly feels like it. While they destroy every comic book, sports event, movie, and all of us non-political people just say, "Could we just be left alone?"
Yeah.
To do these things.
And they insist that they're not doing it. That's the weirdest thing. Is one day they'll insist that like, what? We're not doing anything. And then the next day they're like calling for, we need better,
not
messages in our comic books.
Oh yeah. Then they start chanting, what is it? Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, kill the cops. And you're thinking, wait a minute, what? You're not doing anything? Take it easy.
Did you see that video of those two cops that were shot? They were parked. This is in California somewhere. I think it was California. They were just parked and someone ran up and shot them through the window. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. They both survived.
That's astonishing.
It is. I hope they're okay. Like I hope I know they're like in the hospital and stuff, but
Getting shot in the head and living, I mean, that's extraordinary. I
both
feel
of
like
them.
if somebody hit me in the face with pie, I would question my ability to survive. I would just no pie in the face. I'm done. This is it.
Yeah,
But being shot, getting an actual bullet intruded into your brain and living, that's
living.
phenomenal.
And the woman, she got shot. A female officer shot in the jaw or something. And I saw a
Hmm.
video of them hunkered down inside of a building trying to hide because they didn't know what was going on. And I don't know, it was something. Uh, Michael says, darn Clint, I wanted to get drawn into the book, but 500. Wow. Oh, well, next time. Yeah, sorry. It's tough trying to figure out pricing for these, especially when you have, a new artist, and I don't know, we're just trying to figure out the pricing. So that is good feedback for sure. I hear you. We'll consider that, in future campaigns for sure. So that's the best answer I have. Sorry. Here's a question for Charlie. I've got a question for Charlie. Do you ever get artist block? And if so, how do you overcome it and just get the work done?
You just sit at the table every day and you just keep drawing, and no matter what, you just keep rolling, and all kinds of things come up. Sometimes, I mean, if you're looking at the cover right there, I drew Flynn leaping and blasting with his right hand and grabbing the other alien creature with his left. I drew that so quick. The rough took 30 minutes. The refining took 45, and the inks took an hour or two. And the vehicle. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd that go?
Huh?
And leave
Oh,
the
I
cover.
just.
Leave the cover there for a second.
Oh, sorry. You're talking
The
about.
the vehicle took more time. That was hard, but because you got to bring out the French curves and everything, and figure out how the girls are on there. The girls took a little longer, but everything was just rolling along. And I drew the buildings, and the buildings, I knew how they wanted them to be. I knew how I wanted them to be. I knew what was what. And that building that's right behind Moxie, I redrew that 9, 10 times. So I could have done the whole cover in black and white in a day about, but I ended up getting, it's not a writer's block or a artist block, but it's sometimes things don't fit, and you get hooked on them, and you just keep hammering on them, and you hammer on them till they're right. And
Mm.
but no, I don't want to jinx myself, but the problem I come up with is there's not enough time. I just want to draw more things. Can I please squeeze more out of each day, because there's so much fun stuff to get done. There's so much fun to be had on the page. There's so much of this story or other stories, or I don't know, draw from life. If I wasn't making this book, I would be drawing something else. If I wasn't drawing that, I would be obsessing over leaves. What kind of leaves are on those trees in the backyard? I mean, down to the most boring thing is just I want to process it through the visual cortex and then out onto paper. So it's never happened. I just want to keep drawing.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to draw more. This, like the fisheye perspective that you're doing here. I
Yeah,
understand how perspective works. Like I've watched the tutorials. I get it, like on a small scale. But whenever you have the vanishing points that leave the screen, you know what I mean? Like they're far off your page, your paper. That's where
yeah.
it doesn't make sense to me as to how you would do it, when the
Well,
vanishing
I
points.
could give you the really quick explanation. I think I talked about it a little bit, which is if you're sitting in a hallway or a subway car, and so imagine you're in the subway car or the hallway. If you look down in one direction in the car, you see the door, and the door is a little rectangle. And then around the little rectangle is a big square, and that's the wall around the door. And you see that as a flat, right?
Yeah.
And in the middle is, and it's flat over there. And there it is. And then if you look in the other direction, is another square at the other end of the hallway and a little rectangle door in the middle. And so now over this way is this flat square, and it's over there. And then over there is this flat square, and they both have points. And you turn your head from side to side, and the two corners are connected by what in your head you're telling yourself is a straight line. But when you look from side to side, and if you draw it on one side of the paper and the other side of the paper and connect them, it can't be a straight line. And that's because you're receiving the world and the information around you in a dome, because your head is a dome and you're using your eyes and your stereoscopic vision to take it all in. And when you connect it, there are these rules that people give you, but they don't exactly fit. So you have to intuit a little bit of how these things connect. And it's because the world is around you. And when you put your head in the world, it bends around you, and there really are no straight lines. So in what somebody would call this cover is a fisheye lens, that's only because that camera lens takes in more than just looking forward and seeing it. It pulls in a little more of the world, and as the world is perceived, it bends in the perception. And so that's the way it is. If you really draw stuff like that, then you'll find out there aren't clean vanishing points and there aren't clean perspectives. You have to draw what you see and then intuit a little bit. And sometimes to make leaps, there are rules that could get you from point A to point B without intuiting what it is.
So you're not actually drawing out a grid that fits.
No,
okay.
it's all intuition. It's all.
Oh man.
I drew Flynn, and the first version I had the two girls underneath him, and it was more of a vertical up and down. But then I decided that I wanted to do a wraparound cover because the way we present these things are more in a movie letterbox shape. So I pushed them over there and said, all right, well, now they're going through the city, and the little launch pad is underneath them, and the city sprouts up around that. So if you draw from life, that stuff happens, and you can't actually get away from it. And then if you see wide angle or fisheye photography, that's what it's mimicking. It's mimicking the world that you're in, and it's around you. So the fun of it, if you practice it, is then you can use those rules, whether you can tell me the rules of why it works or not. You can use those rules to put the viewer in the story with the characters. And that's what it accomplishes the best. You're in there with these guys. Right.
So I think, that makes sense. I've heard people say, I don't know, it's like, this is why I feel like drawing tutorials. Someone told me this once. This was Bob Stone. He's the guy that he did the logo for Sweet Comics. He does all of Zach's logos or Richard's logos, for his books and stuff. He told me, don't like all these anatomy rules and stuff. That's not the right way to learn how to draw well. You look at reference and you draw a lot. And he just said, just workshop it out. That's how you get it. And so, I did. I was doing really, really well with this website that would just show you pictures for 30 seconds and change poses, of people. And, just really quick gesture kind of sketches. I feel like I was getting a lot better, but the problem is I kind of just I didn't have time to prioritize it. So I kind of stopped, and I don't know, I got to do more of it, but I don't know. It's just so cool. The art.
That's what they have you do in an anatomy class or a life drawing class.
Yeah.
The model stands there, and in the beginning of class, they'll stand there for 30 seconds. And then in 30 seconds, they'll do this, and you do gesture drawings. And then they'll do a 5-minute pose, and then they'll do a 10-minute pose. and then they'll do a 20-minute pose, and you can study them differently. So, if you just keep walking around and drawing things, or take pictures and then draw those, then you learn the rules. And even if you can't tell somebody what the rules are, you can't articulate what the rules are that you've pulled out of doing this, you still know them. And that's what I mean by that's the intuition. And then it gets even better if somebody tells you, well, here are these rules that you've been abiding by, even if you don't know them, whether it's a Kubert school or those people, they've broken it down for you to say, all right. And then a lot of times it's good to experiment and get lost in different directions, and then have somebody tell you some real hard rules to stick to,
Yeah.
But experiment first.
The part that makes sense is it sounds just like writing, because it's the same thing. Like, you have tons of rules for writing. It feels like too many rules for writing that exist. And I've learned all the rules, and you kind of, but the problem is with that is you kind of lose a little bit of the life, you know what I mean? And so I kind of had to push back against that and say, what feels right, you know what I mean? And that, I don't know, to me that makes sense. Like with art, music's like that too, all these music theory rules, but I don't know, some of it just, it feels right, and it makes sense why it's a rule, I guess.
Yeah, you got to feel it out, and it's always got to be you feel it out, and then sometimes you're lucky enough to have a teacher or know the guidelines of rules. And then what does Morpheus tell Neo? You're in a world, and you have to know which rules could be bent and which rules could be broken. And as long as you could take the reader with you and adhere to the language that's established and push the boundaries, but then keep coming back to that core language, then they'll go with you for the story.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm highlighting this comment because a lot of people too are saying, like, yep, I agree with you. Brian, am I saying that right? Brian 02. I think he's exactly right. He says your second book option could be a 20-page comic based on a side character like Ethan did with Death Sting and Heather. Just don't do ash cans. So I think you're right completely. The way that I like this to be done, like how I would work it with crowdfunding, is kind of like, again, I'm just looking at Hellboy and how he's put things together, but he'll have, like, you got the main story, but he'll still have these side things like Abe Sapien or Lobster Johnson that have their stories that they're connected to the universe. You don't have to read them. It's not like it's crucial, but it does tie in the story and it helps the story, along, but it's also not, I hate when you're reading comics and it stops and it says you have to read this other issue somewhere else. Like that's obnoxious to me. But yeah, having it sort of fill out the story, I think that's a good idea. So having it be, to me, a different title almost that you could even build upon each time. If we were doing 4 of these a year and we did like Fatal, and then you have a backup story that's like I don't know, Kit, the early years or something, because someone brought that up. And then awesome. for Kit, you have, over the course of a year, you're doing each installment of her story. So then it's like, it ends up being like a 4-issue series. You know what I mean? And then whatever, you combine that, whatever, down the road, whatever. And then you do a different. So it's almost like a mini series for these side characters that help flesh out the world. So anyway, Brian, I think that's a really good idea.
Do you remember we initially talked about the tech dealers having a supplemental story about the tech dealers?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's on the table. That could still work too.
That would be good. But the only problem I have is that I wish that it was, again, this campaign is doing phenomenal. It's a hugely successful, but again, it's like looking at it, you want to learn and improve things. But the next time I would want to make sure right off the bat that we have everything. You know what I mean? Like, for instance,
The supplemental thing is up front.
yeah, right up front, so people aren't refunding, adding it later in the campaign. That makes people upset. Or or those making people back twice. We like it if people back twice. That's what the t-shirts there. It makes sense not shipping together. But I don't know, like I'd love to have that up front. The other thing too is I thought, you know what, Charlie, if you did 2 covers, they would both sell. It's so hard to find an artist to stand up with your cover.
I can
but
paint. You want me to just make a painted cover?
It would be epic. I'm not saying for this
like a
campaign.
Movie poster kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like you have just 2 covers, variant cover, and like I don't know, I think Ethan does that. A lot of people do that, but I don't know. Your art's fantastic, but doing the variant cover would be cool. I don't know, just a thought. Other people have ideas too. Here's Michael again. Shipping that kind of book might cost more than the book itself. To the UK, $15 for the book plus shipping $20. Oh, I don't know if you're talking about the side book kind of thing. That's something where I would definitely want to ship them together. That also brings up, I understand a lot of international backers are saying that shipping is high. Shipping is high to ship international. I made the cost for shipping, and I just have shipped books. I made the cost essentially what it costs. I just made it a round number, but that's legit what it costs. So we could, I don't know, like normalize things, socialize things, and make domestic backers pay more, and then international backers are paying a little bit less. I just tried to make it cost what it costs to ship, but I get that that's tough. I wish honestly that someone had a distribution center in Canada, the UK, and Australia. If somebody did that, you could ship them just like a box full of books, and then they could distribute it from there. I think that would be awesome, but it takes some figuring out as to how you would handle that.
Malin doesn't have that yet?
Not yet, no. No, I think like Charlie's London or someone like that. Like if it would take like a rental. What do they call that? A storage space rental. I got to pay attention to this clock too.
Well, Malin's almost in Canada, right?
He is close to Canada. It's true.
He's in Michigan.
You'd have to. There'd still be like duties or something though to take stuff across the border, I think.
Oh, I see.
So there'd be a cost to it, but you have to give it to somebody there.
We can't just have him row a canoe full of books across the Michigan River. What is up there? Lake Erie? What's happening up there? I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, they have no, actually. So the interesting thing about Michigan is you can go south. You can be in Michigan and go south to go to Canada. So if you're in Detroit, there's the Detroit Bridge that goes. I think it's the Detroit Bridge. You cross the river. Is it Huron? I can't remember. St. Clair, whatever the river is, you cross it south and you're in Canada just for this little kind of bit that moves up, so it's super close for sure. I think where he's living too, it's not super far, but yeah, you'd have to figure. You could do it,
right? He does canoeing and shit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You could cross to Canada easy, but legally, of course.
Contraband comic books.
It's like hauling comics over the border.
Him and his wife are just in Lake Huron rowing. We got to get these comics over the border.
That's right.
Don't let the border patrol get us. Duck, honey. Don't worry about it.
You can see that on the news. A legal white supremacist comic book dealer was, some nonsense like that. Brian says, do it with Fatal 2, then you get 3 books to sell. Here's a good point too, is that on the second campaign, so, Brian Polito's model, he's still selling versions of the earlier books because you have to let people get into the story. But like Downcast 2, I'm selling a lot of Downcast 1, for people the first time. So it does get a little bit more stable, you know what I mean, as you go, which is nice.
Did you have a
Yeah,
lot of people buy both the second time around?
yeah, I did. Here, I'll pull up the numbers. I can't show them on here, just because I don't want to dox anybody. But I'll
Well,
tell
I
you what the
mean, I
numbers are.
bought. Did I buy Graveyard Shift? Because I missed Graveyard Shift 1, so I might have bought that in two versions. Maybe I did 2 and 3 together. I don't remember. I don't remember
Yeah,
anything. There's so many. Everything's so hard to keep track of. I'm so old and lost. I don't know.
that's all right.
Can I just eat brownies and beer
That's
and
all. Yeah,
be the fattest guy there is? I clean up my language. Here's the strange thing: when my kids are awake, I am such a disciplined. I also don't say like in front of my kids. And the way an alcoholic can't drink booze at all, I don't use the word like as in I like that because I've heard people talk. Have you ever heard kids that are around 9 or 10?
yeah.
They sound like they have verbal tics. They say like so much.
I know it.
It's a verbal tic. So once I heard that when my kids were 2 and or about 3 and 1, I looked at my wife and said, "We can't ever say like. Listen to these other children. They sound the English language is destroyed." So around my kids, I don't care actually if people say other profanities. I'm fine with it. Fine. You can say F and S and uh, who the F sells
All
this
of them.
S? All
Yeah.
of it. Just don't say like. I was like walking over here and I was like that because if I hear that because that develops a habit, right?
Yeah.
So but I had that habit, and to me, I think of it as a teenage girl habit. But three of the people in my life that are the worst abusers of the like word are dudes. And I always look at them and think, you guys are such bitches. Get your shit together. Talk like a man.
Stop saying it. Yeah. I know it's such a bad habit. My ums are the thing that I do, but it almost seems like if you take out a filler word like I used to
Mhm.
do a lot of public speaking for work. I really tried to work on that, and then I would start adding new filler words that end up being phrases or something. I'm like, is that really better? I don't know,
Mm.
but yeah,
I
it's
think the
rough.
secret is vary it, vary your fillers,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
have certain things that you say so much that you could rapid fire it. So instead of filler words, have filler go-to phrases that you're so good at dealing that when you've loaded them into the hopper of verbal your verbal hopper that you could just fire that off rapid fire while you're reloading the next thing that you've got to say.
they become your catchphrases.
Yes.
Essentially,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, makes sense. So to answer your question, I sold 369 copies of Downcast number 1 on the Downcast number 2 campaign,
Mm,
which, you know,
that's a lot of copies.
relative to Fatal, but yeah, percentage wise, if you think about it, for Downcast, this is over a third of the backers essentially got Downcast 1. So
Wow.
that,
Beautiful. So it grew a lot.
that's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. So it's nice. I don't know. I'm really curious to see after this campaign is completely finished what the net profit is. We have to figure that out. And it's tough to know right now. But what the net profit is, improve upon the first one, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I could tell you more specifics off air, I guess. I'm like nervous to say stuff on air, but I'm like, I would
Well,
just have to know I'm netting a certain amount, you know, or like you don't know because it is a business. It's still a risk. You know what I mean? That's
yeah.
what owning your own business is like. But
Yeah.
with some degree of confidence, knowing, you know, if I make at least this much or between this much or hopefully this much per campaign, and you can do, you know, 3 or 4 of those a year, you know,
And you're
you're in
solid.
business.
What are we looking at? What's these Why is it going by like that? What is Indicron? I don't actually know what Indicron is.
Indicron's gone through some iterations over the years. I don't use it quite as much as I used to. Sorry, I just had to hide. Stop hiding stuff from us. I don't want to tell you like my income.
All
That's
right.
all I'm coming down to, and like, I was just thinking of like, how do you handle insurance and things like that?
Eric
But
Hutfels. I think I was talking to him in the chat of this show or that. And but what's the Hutfels? I want to get to the bottom of everybody's screen name.
it's probably legit his real name. Watch. You never know.
Hutfels.
That could be an interesting story though. I'd love to know everyone's story behind their screen names.
And Eric, is Eric a Dutch or Swedish name? What's happening there, Eric? Is that right? Does that sound Dutch or something?
I have no idea. He's got a T-Rex though.
Damn you,
Unfair
Eric, and all of your
like
likes.
stuff.
Yeah. So I was a big violator of this rule that I've set out for myself. So to not say it, I actually don't even say I like that. I will actually go around the Cape of Good Hope and say I am very fond of these drawings you've made for me, children. These are wonderful drawings. I mean, I still say like sometimes because you almost can't avoid it, but I do anything I can, like an alcoholic that won't even drink an O'Doul's, because one O'Doul's in, I would say, I just gotta get another real one. So I avoid it entirely. I'm never like that. I'm not like that.
Yeah.
I was like saying it with Upspeak too. I was like saying it. No. I was saying it. Talk like a man.
I know that's another thing too, is just the cadence, like you say, like the upspeak. And I don't know, when I'll have friends that talk a certain way, and when I catch myself speaking that way, I'm like, I gotta stop, just because you want to be uninfluenced, in the way you're speaking.
Well, yeah, because it cuts a few ways too. Because if you start calling other people out that are saying that stuff, because I want them to not. I don't care if they say it to me. I don't want them to say it in front of my kids. And then here's what's worse: I become the dick in the family. I become the jerk who's now policing speech, and at the same time, I'll keep saying to him, "You could say F, you could say the C word. I don't care in front of my kids. Just don't say like." It's so confusing to people. And here's what's weird: they can't control it. Then they'll realize, oh my goodness, I'm a monster. I have no control over my own verbiage. I say, yeah.
Once you become aware of it, self-aware, it's a problem.
Yeah. And then everybody who I've had these horrible conversations where I am the a-hole, they then come back to me a month later or so and they say, now I've been listening to other people talk and I hear it and it's effed up. And yeah.
Here's a
Book the
question.
6x9 head sketch. Get a copy of Fatal with the wrapper on cover and an original sketch on a 6x9 Bristol board, or in the book instead if we want it.
So the plan was on a Bristol board. We could probably do it in the book. The problem would be I'd have to make a section in the book, and then also the paper's not optimal for a head sketch. Those are my concerns. But I don't know, if you email me, if that's what you want it in the book, email me, and I'm sure we could figure out a way to make that work if you want it in the book. But the rule is essentially, that would be an exception to the rule. The rule is that it's just on a sheet of paper. What I don't really want to do is ship an entire box of books or several.
I mean, I have this by the table all the time, right? So there's Cyberfrog, and you open the first page, and is that the type of paper? Is that what we're talking about?
That would be ideal for it, but that's not the paper we're using. So he did, because this is saddle stitched, I think he had more freedom as to it's basically like this has two covers essentially. But the second cover is an uncoated paper and they just printed the blue lines on it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's how he did that one.
So I would be drawing. When I'm drawing in it, is it going to be in there already, or am I drawing on paper
No.
that we then send to the printer?
No. The paper is a 9x. This is the rule: is that it will be a 9x6 piece of Bristol board. You'll do the sketch, and then we'll ship it with a book. So that way, your 9x6 sketch is not in the book. It's not bound with the book. You can take it and hang it up on the wall. You can, do whatever you want. Just like Roland says here, it's an insert page.
Like a bookmark.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the, okay, cool. He says, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think, I don't know, part of it's just for me, like, I think that's how I would want it anyway, because I want to hang it up on the wall if I had original art, as opposed to just putting it in a book and on your shelf so you don't get to see it. But yeah, Michael, you got my email. That's the plan. Let me refresh this again. I cannot let this time go by. I'm trying to watch it here, but I think we can pass 61,000 tonight too. That's totally possible. We're getting backers. They're coming in.
Wow, we're right there.
We're real close. We're moving up on the
close.
trending list now. Look, we're on the first. This is above the fold. So they say.
You're still on me. You want to share your other
Oh
screen?
my gosh. What am I doing? Yeah. Here's the comics list. So these are in order of trending. We're above the fold. We're on number 5 of 6 really that are above the fold. That's a great place to be. We just have to, these are all formidable competitors on the trending list, but it doesn't matter. As long as you're above the fold.
We're up there with Ethan's launching soon. Well, how is he up there and he hasn't launched yet?
Your pre-launch
How does that work?
page. Your pre-launch page gets shuffled in here too. He just is
With
getting
signups?
so many. Yeah. So yeah, mine is I don't have the kind of audience that Ethan has. That's that's a lot. But so mine's more of a slow trickle. That's how I get people
All right.
in.
Well, we could work on that. I mean, look at your black screen behind everything. Ethan's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got
yeah.
He's got hip hop intro music.
There's probably a little bit more to it than that, but I'm improving.
No, that's it. That's all there is. And hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Yeah.
Ring the bell for notifications.
Yeah.
Always remember to say that.
We're getting it built up. Yeah, people are reminding me. Drop the link. I will. Don't let me pass the time. Don't let me pass the time and not renew this. That would be terrible.
Would be disastrous.
We cannot do that. It would be very bad. So I've got to keep watching the time. But
how much time do we have left?
I'll let me check in here. Just bought
minutes?
Again. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that. We
Holy
have
smokes, dude. Thank you. What, twice?
What a great supporter. I really appreciate that. Here we are. We have 40. I better refresh this. It said 45 minutes a little while ago.
It's got to be 41 minutes now, right?
I'm sure.
If it's 3 a.m.
37
minutes. I was wrong by minutes.
Do
we have to wait?
No, we can do it.
Have to wait until right now.
Let's do it sooner. It's not worth it.
Can you just do it now?
I probably could. Yeah. Because what if my power goes out again for another week?
Dude, we were just on that Drawn and Quartered show, and he said he wanted me to give that Namaste speech. I started giving him, and
61.
Sorry. Nice. Beautiful. Yeah. Thanks to Michael.
Thank you.
That's Michael's doing.
That is. Sorry, they asked you to give the Namaste speech.
I was giving it, and everything shut off around me. I was sitting here looking at the camera, and then remember, here's the key moment in your life, and poof, everything just shut. Everybody's picture disappeared in the stream. My iPad shut off, and I thought, this is comically perfect. and I look down at my router instead of two beautiful glowing blue white lights, just had a red flashing light. And I thought, oh man, what happened? That
Like,
was perfectly timed, so I didn't have to give a terrible speech.
this is not
And
good.
then,
Okay.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
I didn't mean to go. I'm going to extend it right now. Is that okay? I don't think it matters. We're still on the trending list. People are backing it, but now I'm like nervous because your stream
Well,
shut down.
well, what happens if
If
we're
we
on
don't,
we're on the trending list? When you reset it, does that knock us off the trending list?
no, it shouldn't. The trending list is going to go off of backers. So I think what happened is because it was ending soon, Indiegogo backers get a notification from Indiegogo. They send out to their mailing list and they say, hey, this campaign is ending soon. And so all those people are notified. It's kind of like you're getting a mailing list from someone else. It's not just me, exhausting the same mailing list. They send it out to those people and then it sort of shakes the trees. And then the fact that it's getting more backers sends it up on the trending list. And yeah, it gets more attention. So I'll extend it, and then people will see, oh, it has 30 days left, and they'll basically sit on their hands and wait again till the last minute to back it. It's essentially how it works.
I don't understand anything in the world.
It's okay.
Nothing. It's official. I don't understand anything. I understand how if you have a hamburger and you put cheese on it, it becomes a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Short of that, I don't know. I understand chili dogs and how to draw deltoids, but that's about it.
That's okay. I think again, if we did this, I'm just gonna refresh this one more time and check how many minutes. 34 minutes. Okay, at 30 minutes, I'm gonna extend it.
I love seeing us up with that company. It's nice to see Graveyard Shift next. We're up there with Graveyard Shift. What's SOS Volume 2?
That's a book by a guy named Chimera. And
good name.
Yeah, he does. The cover for this is by a guy named.
It's a cool cover.
Kim. Yeah, the cover's great. His name's Kim something. I contacted him years ago to do a book for me. And then he's like, no, I work for Marvel now. I could do a book. And then he told me his page rate, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. You're worth every penny. But he does. We should pull up his DeviantArt and I'll show you stuff. He's great. But I actually talked to him kind of recently, and he said, I can do covers and stuff. So yeah, we could have him in mind. I'll show you some of his other stuff. It's really cool.
But he doesn't do interiors?
He does, but he does them for Marvel. I don't know if he's exclusive to Marvel or if he's just busy. You know what I mean?
I see. Okay. All right. Pretty fun work.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
So yeah, before you had us there with who else was trending, and we were up there with Zach and Ethan and
back here on the trending right here.
Yeah. What is Black? So there's Ethan, there's Zach, and there we are with Alterna Comics.
Yeah,
man, that's nice company. What is Black Hops Apocalypse?
This is Tim Lim's books. One of his books.
Is Tim Lim the guy that did Donald Thump?
Yes, that's him.
Okay, that's also cool company. Although he's only at 20 days left, and they've raised $4,525.
Yeah, so this is like a reprint of. It's an omnibus, I believe. Yeah, so it's like a collection of everything he's done. He's one that's done. Who did this art? That's so good.
That's not Tim Lim doing the art?
No, this is Tim Lim.
Oh,
I don't know who this is, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's Kelsey. That. This is Kelsey Shannon's art here.
Really?
Yeah, this is one of his painted stuff.
I haven't seen Kelsey's full painted stuff. What is the photo?
I don't know. Cosplayer.
Pretty hot.
Yeah.
Redhead and a bunny rabbit.
Trying to see where that cover was. That was pretty cool. Anyway, but yeah.
All right, that's also awesome company. Clint, we're in. That's some pretty. And what's Englewood? I'm just trying to figure out who else we're up there with.
This is Micah Curtis's book. And it shuffles, it depends on, all of these are either new or we're ending soon. So that's why we're kind of getting more attention, All right, I'm going to extend this because I know I'm going to forget. So I'm just going to do it now. All right, so I extend it to 60 days. Save. Extend.
You're doing it right now? Okay.
Oh, my computer just shut down. I'm just joking. That would be terrible. So we'll see if that worked. 30 days left. There we go. That made me paranoid. Yeah, so we get in the shuffle and everything, and
okay.
Yeah.
It's already on the IGG page. Do we say IG or IGG?
Indiegogo, IGG, either way.
When it comes out of my mouth, I say the IG page.
It's all right. I think people know what you're saying.
But it's already up there. 30 days left.
30 days left. Yeah, so we're good. So see, we're still trending, even though it doesn't have our total updated here. But you click on it, and there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. 61,000 in the first 30 days. I'm hoping if we go another 30 days, we get another 30,000, right? Because, excuse me, we went the first 2 days. What do they say? First 24 hours, first 48 hours, you get a third, potentially.
Yeah, we were at 25 in the first 24 hours.
24, but 48 hours. So we got.
Weren't we up to 30 around then?
30, right? Just like it was like 29,800 something. It was so close. It was 30,000 basically. So then we got another 30,000, 31,000 in the next, the rest of the time. 30 days minus 2, 28 days. So if we go another 30 days and you get another 30,000, I mean, it's going to get to a grind for sure. It's going to slow back down again how it was. So it'll be grindy. That would be pretty great. That would be amazing. I don't know.
That'd be nice.
That'd be real nice.
I've got those green-eyed gazongas for the 6 figures though.
Yeah, well, that's why in demand is great. And yeah, you never know. I don't know. We'll just keep chugging. I don't know what else to do.
Just keep pushing. Just keep rolling.
Yeah. Collector's bundle, 75 claimed. That doesn't include, again, you're not seeing all the behind the scenes stuff. You're not seeing the secret tiers.
I don't even know about secret tiers. I'm part of it, and I have no idea what's happening in all these secret tiers.
Yeah, I can show. You have access to. Technically, you can get in there and look at it anytime.
Yeah. Although Indiegogo does keep sending me that message. Finish setting up your Indiegogo page.
You can ignore that one. I think you could still just log into Indiegogo and go click on My Campaigns, like up here.
Mm-hmm.
Click on your name, go to My Campaigns, and you should see it.
All right.
But you can get in and look around if you want.
I'll paint a cover. I have to bite that bullet. I'll just paint the movie cover, like a movie poster, right? I would be thrilled. I've been trained to do it. I just haven't done it.
Yeah, you'll hit 90K for sure, Clint. I think it's here. Eric's saying, why not another 60K?
Yeah, Eric.
Why not? Why not?
Let's just double it. Let's just double it.
That would be fantastic.
Eric knows what he's talking about, and we can do it.
If we double it, I will quit my job. Not immediately, but I'll quit my job and do comics.
Not only quit, Clint. I don't want you to just quit.
Yeah.
I want you to burn your bridges. I want you to go through that place, just like in Half Baked, where he's quitting. F you, F you, F you. You're cool. F you. And then hit the road, drop the mic, out.
Should I would live stream it from my phone? uh, thing is, like, I like a lot of people that I work with, in my immediate sphere. I'm working from home though now too, so
What difference does it make?
I know. The difference is I wouldn't have to do some of the stuff I hate doing. That would be the difference. I could just be doing comics. That would be cool.
What's the worst thing that you have to do?
Um,
Get to fire people?
no. I used to supervise people. I don't do that anymore. That was not fun.
Supervise them doing what? Mopping? What are you supervising?
Closed captioning and office work kind of stuff. I don't do that anymore. It'd be more like interns and work studies and stuff like that. I've bossed some interns around in my time.
Do you work with deaf people?
Yeah. Blind people, deaf people.
It's a lot easier to say things behind their back.
You know what's funny is
it works out too, Clint, because I know all about you. You're a
Yeah.
terrible, mean, wretched person who's just waiting to badmouth some handicapped man while he's sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
I know. You can tell me. You can admit it. Well, it's just me and you here. There's no one else listening.
You know what's funny though is in like deaf culture, they're much more blunt. Like they don't have the same kind of social kind of norms. So we were for some reason in this meeting and we have interpreters there. I don't know sign language, but we had interpreters and we were talking for some reason. Oh, it was a 3D printer. I run a 3D printer too that we make objects for learning that were really helpful to people that are blind. So you have like tactile graphs, math graphs, and things like that.
Walking sticks, elf ears, and dildos.
That's exclusively, yes. But yeah, we were in this meeting where like someone was like, "Can you print a unicorn?" Because there's some joke around it. It's like, yeah, we could print a unicorn. In theory, we could do that. And then this guy was like, who's deaf, he's like, "Oh yeah, speaking of unicorn, it reminded me, are you going to print that unicorn?" Like he brought it up. We talked about a different meeting. Then he said, "Your hair reminded me of the unicorn. Are you going to print that unicorn?" And I was like, did they interpret that correctly? My hair reminded you of a unicorn? And it's like this.
Wow.
There's like the tuft right there,
You are Sling Blade.
It's the light. Here we go. There.
Fried potato. It's even taking weird shit. It's almost in a Mikhail Gorbachev birthmark shape at this point. You've got quite a peninsula happening.
It's a peninsula, yeah. And the lighting, it does make it look like it's not connected. It is. The camera like makes it look worse, but yeah, I don't know.
Take it from me too. I envy your peninsula.
You envy what? Oh, the peninsula.
I envy you the peninsula. There's nothing left. It is just the horseshoe, and all I have is the fringe, and even the fringe is failing. Clint, I'm in full fringe failure. It's even this is receding. The fringe is receding.
Yeah.
You know that ship in Alien where it's just that horseshoe that crashes?
Wow. The derelict ship.
The horseshoe is crashing. The Prometheus is going down.
I feel you.
It's sad. But like I said, I'm married and my wife, her celebrity crush is what's his name? I can't remember his name. The bald weirdo.
Malkovich, John Malkovich.
Yes. So my wife's celebrity crush is John Malkovich. When she told me that, I thought, what? That can't be right. You're not even into me. Here's what's even the sadder part. When you just won't accept yes as a good answer. When you think to yourself, so you're not even into me for me? You're just into me for being a bald weirdo? And,
when really you should be like, well, whatever. I guess it's working.
Awesome score.
Yeah.
This is the best score of all time. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael says, Clint, I must say, as you go forward, it seems I hope that all the art and writing is growing. Dracula pushing. Will the grail of your writing? No pressure. Yeah, man, I'm always working on improving, for sure. And this is exactly why I work with editors to help push me to, and yeah, I just want to keep getting better. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Who's our
And a
editor?
lot.
Is it Thunderbuns?
No, I've hired. I've worked with several editors. Brandon Crowther was one. Christina Lynn was one I tried out on The Secret History of Strata, and she's really good. She edited Earthworm Jim and a few other things. So I think I'll try her out. I don't remember what, but I don't know. I'm kind of trying out editors just to see, and I think it's okay to have new editors. Someone's saying, did you reset it? Oh, I forgot. No, it's resetted. Here we go. It says 30 days left. I'm just refreshing just to make sure I feel okay about it. So we refreshed it. We're good. 100K. Yeah, Bo says congratulations on 61K. Thank you very much. Michael says art as good as EVS. High praise. 6 figures, young lady, do it.
Yeah, Bo Bico.
If you leave it in demand for 3 months, you'll get over 100K. That's the nice thing, is that in demand exists. So especially where, again, I'm not coming out of the gates. I see like John Malin, he'll launch his campaign. You watched his launch stream, right?
Yeah.
And he makes like 60K in the first 2 hours or something. It's insane. But he's got people that just love him and they're all ready to back immediately, and so that's, yeah, I don't know, that's like what you build toward. I'm new at this, really. I'm not a comic book pro. This kind of puts us in some rare company too, though, because we have not worked in the industry, Marvel or DC. We don't, you know what I mean? We're breaking in, so to speak. We're kind of new. So it really is
kind of
pretty
new.
cool.
You're kind of new. I'm baby fresh, soft-footed, gurgling, colicky baby.
to comics and crowdfunding, but
yeah,
you got your chops, your art chops. You're not new to that, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm carrying no name into this. This is that's the groundbreaking thing. Has anybody else come in with no name?
No. I mean, so if you think about it, it's like Richard, he didn't work in the comic book industry. I think he had like one thing published in a anthology or something like that, but he's kind of like me. He came out of nowhere. He has a much bigger YouTube channel than I have, though. But he's one, and part of his success, I think, came with hiring, working with John Malin, and they got together and they did that book, and it was very, very successful. It did really well for him. That's part of it.
That was earth shattering. For some reason, go ahead, you do that book. All right, how's 400K? Okay.
It's so much money. It's crazy. Yeah, that was super impressive. But now he's doing books all the time. But him, and then who else? Chat, let us know. Are there other people that have not had like a name? Do you know what I mean? Like they're breaking in, so to speak. He had a huge YouTube channel that also helped. Yes, he did. I have a YouTube channel. It's pretty small, but it's everything.
Did he come in with did he launch when he had 100,000? No, that was a year later. He had less than 100.
I think he had like 60,000 or 30,000. It was one of those two. And so he launched his campaign, and part of it was, clearly there was the controversy with Mark Waid being a total idiot to him, and that had to have affected how much money he got. But I still think he was already super successful before that. But that got people to notice for sure.
Hell yeah.
Here, oh yeah, Doug Ernst. It's true. He's got like 10,000 subscribers. He's been around longer than I have, but he does have a successful book under his belt. That's for sure.
He doesn't have 100,000 too. He's a pretty big name.
I think he's like 10 or 15,000 subscribers, but his book raised like 35,000, 36, something like that, somewhere around there. So he's not quitting his job, but if we were doing
isn't he a
quit our
writer
job.
for the Washington Times?
Yeah.
That's a pretty bad job. I wouldn't have quit that. No
No,
matter what else I was writing.
I don't think he wants to. That's not his goal. He just likes he's just doing, it's a kind of side thing. But yeah, to jump ship and do comics, I'm just trying to think if there's anybody else. There's not really that many people who are doing it. Cecil could. I have no idea what he's doing in real life, but I don't know.
And then Malin and the Variants was going to back, then stopped. I backed your book and said I see potential and more. Fact.
Wow.
Michael Strelitz.
Thank you.
Michael Strelitz. Strelitz or Strelitz?
Strelitz.
We
Sorry.
salute you.
I should say Michael. Yeah, that's really kind of you. Thank you. Oh wait, sorry. Clint, have you seen any comments about my name? Oh, did you comment again about it? Oh, you said that it wasn't named after a keyboard. You were looking for a white sounding name. Was that it? I don't know if I highlighted that one.
Yeah, but what's weird about Roland is
Nobody cares.
Jesus H. Christ, nobody cares. Nice Eric Idle photo. Roland is, it's really stretchy because there's Roland and Ratfink, right? Does anyone remember Roland and Ratfink?
No.
It's a cartoon from the 60s.
Oh yeah,
And I don't know, it's sort of, there was who was the Mountie in the Bullwinkle?
Oh, I don't know who it was, but I know what you're talking about. The Mountain.
All right, that was the Bullwinkle stories, but then there was a whole other company. Maybe it was Hanna-Barbera that made a cartoon about the ant and the aardvark, and they also had Roland and Ratfink, and it was this really cheap cartoon from the end of the 60s, and I think Roland was almost this ultra waspy name, but I have never met a white Roland. I have met several black Rolands.
Hmm.
So the name used to be super white, but now is sort of. I've only met black dudes named Roland. I don't know.
I've never met anyone named Roland in real life. It's always just in movies. Seems like I've only known two Rolands. Both were black, so I don't know.
See, all right, it's switched, and now we know it was Puerto Rican Japanese. Is that what?
Dudley Do Right, was that it?
Dudley Do Right. That's it. That's right. And who was the villain to Dudley Do Right? That was another good villain name.
Yeah, and then mustache, right?
Yeah. So it was sort of this weird Hanna-Barbera answer to Dudley Do Right was Roland and Ratfink, and I loved it. And then there was the Ant and the Aardvark where Jackie Mason did, "Hoi, I'm the ant and I gotta get away from this aardvark." It was fantastic cartoon. It was so good. I mean, it was when I was a kid, used to watch TNT, and TNT had all the different cartoons that would come through.
Yeah.
And one of them was Roland and Ratfink, the Ant and the Aardvark, and the other one was the Pink Panther. But then the Pink Panther turned into the French inspector, and he would say, "Oh, Judo, don't say si." He had the little Spanish inspector with him. "Don't say si, say we." And the little Spanish inspector would say, "Oh, I meant to say we. I mean si. I mean, I don't know what I mean." And I don't know. All I watched is cartoons. And now that I'm older, all I watch is cartoons.
Yeah. Cartoons are fun though. I've been watching a little bit more. When you have kids, it happens.
Yeah, we're gonna cancel Netflix because of the Cuties thing. My wife is dead set on canceling Netflix.
Yeah.
And she wanted to cancel HBO a little while ago, but I said, look at HBO Max. It has every Warner Brothers cartoon ever. Ever. And I think so if you go on HBO Max, sign in, go look around. If you have HBO, anybody, go out there and look. There's 9 seasons of Warner Brothers cartoons before Bugs Bunny ever shows up, even in his proto form. And I've only looked at a few of them. They are crazy. Because if you go back in the cartoon history, which I'm only doing now because I just got Disney Plus and now HBO Max, there's these amazing old Disney cartoons because Walt Disney wanted to bring the fairy tales up from the ages and present them that way. And there's these great ones about Mother Spring, and she's dancing with the devil, and the devil's got the spirits coming out. And it is so fantastic. Yeah, don't go cuties. Yuck. Yeah, it's gross.
Oh no, no one even wants to talk about it.
Just cancel. Is everybody canceling Netflix?
It's just over.
Are we all just doing it?
I don't even. We have Disney Plus. We have Netflix too, but I just want to finish watching Cobra Kai season 2 if I ever get time to watch it. Honestly, though, like YouTube is so you just have everything on YouTube.
You do.
Like at an instant, whatever you're interested in. I love documentaries, and there's so many just free documentaries on YouTube you can watch. So, I don't know. I've got tons of comics too. I need to read. So.
I haven't read. We haven't read Downcast 2 here yet. I've been waiting with the kids. I have 3 Neil Adams Batman books, Downcast, and what else? There's a few other comic books that we haven't read because we're still in the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
And my daughter calls them the Party Boys. The 4-year-old calls them the Party Boys. And I always think, well, I can't tell if that's a more innocent or a far less innocent title.
Could be a very different book.
Yeah, don't hang out with the Party Boys, girl. To my 4-year-old, you're not allowed to hang out with the Party Boys.
I forgot about that show, Dear White People. I watched 5 minutes of it out of curiosity, and it was so cringy.
Roland Katsu. Wait, could you put his name back up there again? That's a good. Roland Katsuragi. I canceled Netflix after their adaptation of Dear White People. That is a beautiful name too. Yeah, I should have canceled it right after that. Roland was right. Katsuragi.
Yeah.
My agent is named Kison. And everybody, I used to always, before I met him and I would see his name on some emails before he was my agent, I would say, what is this Japanese guy doing on here? He's a black dude. It's just, it looks like his name says Kiyu-san, but it's almost a little different version of Keyshawn. For the longest time before we met, I thought he was Japanese. Especially because, do you remember Iron Chef?
Oh, yeah.
From way back in the day? And the guy would say, Kiyo-san, and then the guy would talk, almost like that was the cue. Kiyo-san, yes? Hey! Hey!
Yeah.
Kiyo-san, hey! I only watched the Japanese version. So that's what I thought his name was. So he was another Japanese black guy as far as I was concerned. Roland Katsuragi. Hey!
So you brought up your agent. I'm curious. I don't want to put you on the spot, so tell me if you can't say it on air. But you talked to Neil Adams, and he said, advertising or comics, and he said, do both.
Do both.
Can you reasonably do both? That sounds like a pain in the butt. Or can you do it?
The deadlines are so extraordinarily different. I mean, ideally, if this goes high enough, then this will just all be the focus. But my agent, he's fantastic, and I haven't had to negotiate anything ever because he does it. And but our deadlines for advertising, somebody comes in. So what is it right now? It's Friday morning. We're coming up on 3 a.m. And so tomorrow morning at 11:30, somebody might call and say, "We need 50 frames for Coca-Cola, and it's going to be pretty girls go to the movie theater and they drop Thin Mints into the popcorn, and then a guy comes from the other aisle and pulls them out, and then says, we should go on a date, 'cause, whatever." And then they
Something
go on a
stupid.
date because they met over a fizzy drink. All of advertising is they were in a spot, it didn't go the way they wanted, they used the product, then it went the way they wanted. It's all of advertising.
Yeah.
It's the most basic conflict setup delivery
Yeah.
punchline you can have. And so somebody would pitch us the script and 50 frames or whatever, or 40 or 15, and they'll say it's Friday and we need all 42 drawings on Tuesday at 3 p.m. for a meeting that we're going to have at 6. And then you say, okay. And then everything that you're going to do over the weekend and on Monday and Tuesday goes out the window, and you just do that thing and you deliver no matter what. And a lot of the times that meeting that they definitely were going to have and was an absolutely unmovable object goes from Tuesday at that time to Friday a week later at 6 p.m., but you still deliver anyway. And that's what they pay you for. They don't pay you to deliver when the actual meeting comes. They pay you to deliver when they ask for it. And it's not up to me. And I'll change the drawing 7,000 times, and my fantastic agent will just keep, you want that change? You want straight hair instead of curly hair? Keep ringing up the cash register.
Wow.
And that's his job. And then, that's what they do. And because the people asking for the changes aren't the people with the money, it's the account people. And so the people asking for the changes, they just keep asking for stuff, and you just give it to them. And then they go back to their account people, and the account people say, what happened? We have to pay him how much? Yes. Just make the check payable to Clint Stoker, 763 Park City, Utah, 8563 Road.
How did you know?
I don't know. I'm good with numbers. And then they just have to send it. And because it's corporate, they just do. It's, I don't know. So it works. But I mean, those deadlines are brutal. And they're not, the artwork isn't enjoyable. And it used to be all about drawing pretty girls in nice situations. And now the politics have invaded even that. And they've decided sort of, let's never give anyone what they want, which is pretty girls doing cool things.
Yeah.
Let's give them, now everybody's going to be fat and unattractive and snarky. So all the same things that are in comics, just destroying comics, women in jobs that women aren't ever in those jobs. And it's just, it's to the point where the things don't make sense. And then instead of somebody pitching ideas because the idea is cool, now it's just, we spend most of the time working on the demographics of the situation rather than the situation.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the pitch. It's so strange.
Yeah. And all of the complaints that I hear, I've never worked in comics, but all the complaints that I hear from working in comics are you're overworked and underpaid, essentially. From writers don't get paid. That's the secret, or they get paid very little. It's crazy to me. Once I started learning more, how many professional comic book writers, they don't make any, like, they're make a little bit of money, but they have a regular job because they can't, and then the whole deadline thing, overworked, underpaid for artists. Crowdfunding solves both of these problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me why you would continue to work in comics as it is. Yeah.
Well, Shane was telling us how they would all write stuff and pitch it.
Yeah.
And then one would get picked and made. But I mean, I think I told him on the spot, which was advertising's the opposite. Everybody that even pitches in the tiniest bit, they get paid for their time and their effort. And the corporate model for that is that the client who pays the advertising agency is paying for the development. So I don't know, that comic book model, or at least the comic book industry model, is it's cut out to make paupers out of artists instead of artists selling their effort to clients that want development. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
It sounds upside down. It sounds silly.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, what we're doing is developing something and pitching it instead of to a corporation. We're pitching it directly to people that want to be entertained by it, or the people that want to enjoy it directly. So we pitch the first half of the book and the idea and some of the art and say, what do you think of this? And, 1,000 and something people say, yeah, more of that. That looks good. That's the exciting part. We've completely skipped over what seems to be the absolutely dysfunctional corporate part that really abused artists.
Yeah. And I'm not going to delete this stream. So far, nothing has been said that it needs to be deleted for. So I think we're okay. So I'll leave this stream up so you can catch it tomorrow if you're real tired. So no worries.
Jesus H. Christ. Aye. Aye, is that Eric Idle there? He's sitting in a bathtub there. He's right, He's going to have his hair to one side. He's going to sing about the fonder things of life.
Yeah.
Look on the brighter side of life. You're a comic book artist who's toiling away for years there, even the deepest breaths, the darkest shadows of the nights. You come up out of the shadows there and you go in and tell someone, I got artwork to show. I'll share it with you. You define it. You like it. You share it with your friends and enjoy it.
You don't get to do that very often in advertising either, huh? Like you you just get to goof off and have fun,
No, they kept me far away from the meetings. I went to a few meetings 15 years ago, and somebody said, I don't think he should come to the meetings anymore.
Really?
This guy curses too much, and
you curse in business meetings? Oh,
no,
okay.
no. But I was in the early days when I was actually in the studio. I was a bullpen artist, right? Everybody knows what that means, right? You sit in the studio and people just bring stuff to you, and you just sit at the table and without question, you just keep rolling somebody right into the next thing. They take your artwork to a meeting and then they flush it down the toilet. And whether they sell it or not, nobody cares about the artwork. So it's rewarding in that they pay you, but it's not rewarding as far as art goes, because art is supposed to be shared. And that's really the big upside of what we're doing here, which is we have a specific vision and a specific art and a specific story. And it's not just to sell, the rocket hopper that Moxie and Kit are riding on. Check out the new 2024 rocket hopper. Flynn can hop off the front of it and blast aliens, while Moxie listens to her favorite tunes in a very comfortable ride, and Kit's on the back where she's got air conditioning, and all of her favorite devices can plug right into the rear in the new 2024 rocket hopper. So
the typical commercial there.
That would be your commercial, but we're not selling rocket hoppers.
Right.
We're selling what advertising got good at is make the whole thing so entertaining that you're paying attention long enough to sell the rocket hopper, or Flynn's boots, or Moxie's black leather jacket. That's so cool. They have to serenade you with all of those things to get you to pay attention just long enough to eat all new NutriTubes. Are you hungry? Is your calorie count low? Well, while you're riding in your rocket hopper, make sure to crack open a new NutriTube. Hey, kid, these NutriTubes taste better than last year's. Right? That was actually a commercial clip that I have discussed. NutriTubes.
NutriTubes. Oh. Orson Unwells brings up a point here. I don't think there's a long-term business plan in selling people inconsistently released $30 to $40 books, particularly when the total sales are so low. Second part, I get the appeal for creators, but I don't see a long-term customer retention. This is why I think ideally you just have longer books. Essentially, the problem is you got to build up to a point that you can do it, if that makes sense. Zach's doing it. He does pretty long books, page count is like 94 pages long for, I think, most of his books, or at least his big titles, I think he's doing those $15 books are probably a lesser page count perhaps, but I don't know. Brian Polito's doing it too, though. Yeah, that there Roland brings that up. But I think what it comes down to, though, is consistency. Here's what I think. At the end of this next 30 days, Charlie and I will sit down and have a meeting and talk about where we go from here. Basically is what we got to do, because that'll tell us a lot. But I think one thing that Brian Polito is doing very well is that he's consistent with releases. And so you kind of know when the next book is coming out, and you give people value for their money. So I think that's kind of where it comes down to, giving people value. How do you do that? And then being consistent. So yeah, but we're working toward it. That's a goal for sure.
Yeah.
So.
And we're building the first iteration of the IP. Is that what we'd call it?
Yeah.
The first but I mean, not just the IP, but the world building is taking longer. The outreach is taking longer. The getting people aware of the fun story that we've just cracked open, and then every page I drew was, what does this world look like? What does this room look like? There was never a part where I just drew people in suits that I'm used to drawing. Everything was, what kind of creatures are going to be there, and how big are their cloaks, and wait, are there cloaks, and are there tubes behind their necks? So every single character was a question. So the second half of the book, that's at least established for me now. We can get through that quicker. And then what Clint was just referring to was the second book will be the apex and climax and delivery of the whole arc, I guess. With the world established, we can hopefully get through it in a reasonable pace, and part
of it. Yeah, a big part of it too is, like you were saying, streaming takes up an awful lot of time and energy, especially when you're drawing the thing too, and so like I think part of this is like, we're trying initially. We're just trying to see what we can do at how big we can make a campaign. If you have top-notch art, if indisputably good-looking book, what can you do with that? And so part of it is that. So that's why we're streaming a ton and promoting it as much as we can. But I think if we have a proof of concept, then it's going to be a little bit easier to sort of put the cogs in place, you know what I mean? And then that might look like Charlie streaming once a week or something, I don't know. But doing like 4 campaigns a year is intense, so that you would never get any drawing done. You'd be streaming or tired, sleeping so much.
Unless I
Um,
got so comfortable, and if if Vaughn and Eric are here,
yeah,
yeah, I'll draw instead of talking so much. But I mean,
sure.
this is a little bit of a different night. We've got a lot to talk about. It's
Yeah,
exciting. Not just resetting, but it's new ground. We're holding hands with with love all across the comic skate spectrum,
yeah,
and forging a path. It's really fun to be part of forging a path. It's really fun for me. I've never worked on a university campus. I had my brief stint in the bullpen in an agency, but I've been off on my own for 16 years, drawing from home, whether in Hoboken or now here in the suburbs of Jersey. And to be part of something, and not just part of something, it's this punk rock something.
yeah.
It's this, and I know we're just both talking about, we both have Disney Plus, but this anti-Disney. Who would have thought that Disney, all my favorite movies, and Marvel Comics, all my favorite characters, would get together and destroy all those things that I loved?
Yeah.
And now we've got to pick up the torch for what they used to do. It's so bizarre.
And it's
And
the
not only
communists. The communists that are defending them is the weirdest thing to me. Like the far left. I don't get that. Like, how do
I know.
you get there? But
Me and
I
my boy, we read the Iron Man books from the 60s, and who's the bad guy? It's always the commies. It's
yeah,
always the commies and the fascists. The commies and the fascists are the enemies. They're
right.
the enemies of freedom. And it's so weird. It's so much fun.
Or punk.
Punk. Eric.
Yeah, it
Oz.
is. It is fun. Uh,
All
well,
right, did we
probably.
do it? It's after 3 here.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's wrap it up. Thanks for chatting, Charlie. It's always good to talk to you. Thanks everyone that came to watch. About 40 people, despite being such a late stream, and
There's 40 people here now.
37 now. Yeah, there.
Wow,
Yeah,
what's up, everybody in the
right
chat?
around 40.
I've only seen the same names come around. Is there?
There's this the tip of the iceberg. There sometimes I get emails from those people. There are quiet people that watch. They dig what we're doing, but they
I
don't
never.
like to comment.
You put one chat up. I had never, because I don't know. I'm not watching on another line. I've never seen the name Orson Unwells before, but that is
Yeah,
hilarious name.
I've seen him
Orson
around.
Unwells.
Yeah,
That is great.
but
Eric
yeah,
and Cuts
Ronald, Roland. I'm tired.
Ronald.
Yeah, yeah, you guys are cool. But honestly, you all make this possible. The fact that we're even talking about how do you do a comic book business, a sustainable, ongoing comic book business today is a huge blessing. First off, and you all make that possible by supporting books and helping it, giving us feedback.
Possible and fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
To just be in the chat and talking to Darren Wagner, Christine Venner. I mean, Eric is in there, and is it VIP? There's a VIP. I go in the chat. I'm just enjoying the hell out of the funny shit people are saying in the chat. Is so hilarious. I love it. I absolutely love it.
You guys are great.
And finding out what people want. Michael
you.
Strelitz. Thank you, Michael Strelitz.
That's great.
It's so much fun. And if there's something that you guys want to see in the book, tell us, because we're about halfway. We can add stuff. I mean, there were complaints from all kinds of people about the missing A in Fatal. So in the front half of the book is all action. The second half of the book, Flynn is going to be walking around telling people about his business, and all kinds of people are going to say, why do you call it Fatal? Why not FATAL? And he's going to get annoyed because he's a businessman.
Yeah,
pitching his job.
it'll be good.
It'll be a perfect joke to
Yeah.
to squeeze right in there.
Right. Yeah, it's so much fun. So appreciate everybody that supports us and helps us out and has brought us over $61,000 tonight. That's fantastic. I think we made like $4,000 today, which is
I think
great. So we'll get this going for another 30 days. We can't extend it anymore, but there is in demand. So we'll see what happens. We'll just keep trucking along, and I don't know. Appreciate everybody. So we'll see you tomorrow in a regular video. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Clint. Good night. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.